So rather than doing a whole prediction video for the whole league, I thought I'd just give you a couple of the highlights from my prediction and then give you my thoughts on where Wolves are going to finish this season, because I think it's a little bit up for debate. Lots of pundits have said that we're not going to finish as well as we did last year because of European competition. I think that's the case amongst most neutrals as well. However, I think slightly differently, so we'll just hang on for my full prediction at the end. So my bottom three for this season are Sheffield United, Brighton and Hove Albion and Newcastle United. I think all three of them have got fairly weak squads in terms of the Premier League. Sheffield United have come up, and it's a fantastic story how they've come up from League One to the Premier League so quickly. But I just don't see them having enough to stay up. Brighton as well, a weak squad last year that did just about enough in the first half of the season to keep them up. They've replaced Chris Hughton, a very boring defensive manager, with an unproven manager in Graham Potter. He might be able to work his magic and get them higher up the table than this, but I think that they could be in trouble. Newcastle United as well. I know that they have spent quite a lot of money now on Joelinton and that Maxime chap, but I don't see Steve Bruce having the nous to be able to keep them up either. I do think that Burnley might struggle as well, but I don't know, Sean Dyche's got that experience in the Premier League of keeping a team up and doing well with that team as well. Villa, I don't think will get relegated either, despite not having a striker and spending an awful lot of money and it taking them a lot of time to gel, I expect. I think that they'll have the legs over the season to stay up in the division. And Norwich as well, I think will surprise a few people. They'll be comfortably safe. I think that lots of people are underestimating them because they haven't spent any money in the league at all. In a similar way to us last season, they've had the same manager and the same structure for 2 or 3 seasons now, building up to this. They surprised everybody last year by winning the championship, and I could see them doing that again. As for the title, I think that Liverpool are going to win it personally. They haven't added too much to the squad this summer, but they haven't really needed to. I think they did that when they brought in Van Dijk. They improved that defence. The front three have not been injured either for the last couple of years, so that could be something that holds them back if they do pick up any injuries. But they've got like Oxlade-Chamberlain coming back in for a full season as well. I think that Liverpool could win the title this year, just because as well of Man City losing Vincent Kompany. I know that they've brought in some class additions as well, Cancelo being one of them, and somebody else, Rodri. So they will certainly be up there, but I thought the same last year, that City would prioritise the Champions League. And barring a VAR decision, they'd have been in the semi-finals against Ajax, and then you never know. They might have given Liverpool a tougher challenge in the final than Spurs did. Now for my Wolves prediction. And I think it's people will call me deluded and stupid, but the reason I'm saying this is because at the beginning of last season, before the season even started, I had a couple of bets with people saying that Wolves will be playing Champions League football by the end of this season. I didn't think it was going to take that long for us to get into Europe. And lots of those couple of people sort of sent me messages throughout last season saying, okay, right. There's one person who's a friend of a friend who I haven't really spoken to very much, but last September or October, I had a message saying that, okay, I see what you mean now. And the fact that we got European competition this season, I think it holds us in good stead going forward. I don't think that the Europa League is going to cause us too much of a problem like other pundits think it will, because I know we've got a small squad, but the way that they manage the fitness and the injuries is superb. When they went to Armenia yesterday, they had some sort of electric shock therapy or something to manipulate their muscles to stop them from getting tired and jet lagged, and it was clear to see that worked if they had it before the game, because they were superb yesterday. I just think as well that Wolves have got a better squad and a more settled squad and management and everything and formation than the likes of Chelsea and Manchester United. Arsenal, I think, are quite an interesting one, because before yesterday, before bringing in David Luiz and Kieran Tierney, I didn't think that they had the defence to challenge for the top 4, but I think they do now. But I think Wolves could finish 4th this season. It would be the biggest shock since Leicester won the league in terms of league position. But there's no reason why we can't aim for that as a club and as a fan base, because we've got a very settled squad, a squad that finished 7th last year, and a couple of additions. I think there's been a lot of negativity on Twitter about the transfer dealings over the summer. We haven't brought in the massive names that we hoped that we would, but lots of people have been Compare it to when Manchester City first had their money, and they didn't go out straight away and buy Sergio Aguero and David Silva. It took them 2 or 3 years to get to that point, and that was 2 or 3 years of Premier League football and 2 or 3 years of Europa League football and building it that way. We're at the very beginning of this journey. We have to wait to be patient. That's why we're signing young players and 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds to come in and add to the squad. These Neto and Pedro, whatever his name is, Jordao, they will hopefully come good maybe next season or the season after. But the core of the squad that we've got has got a year of Premier League experience under their belts. They're also international stars. They're also players who've played in the Champions League, and then players that are going to be settled now, and another year of playing for Nuno under their belts. And players like Diogo Jota and Raul Jimenez, who through the second half of last season really found their feet in the division and just looked so good in pre-season as well. We've scored 10 goals in 3 games in Europe. I know it's against Crusaders and FC Punic, but still, they're showing the clinicalness that they didn't show last season. And hopefully against those bottom 6 teams, if we can just improve those results, then we could be looking at a very, very good season. So we finished 14 points off the top 4 last year, but I think it was something like we dropped 16 points against the bottom 6. That could be the difference, or that was the difference last year. If we can make sure that we pick up the same number of points against the top 6, which I think was about 16, then we should be confident about going into this season. We should be looking forward to it. I know that lots of Wolves fans are concerned about the lack of creativity in midfield and that attacking mid that we have missed out on in the transfer window. But I think that we can develop either Jean Moutinho or Morgan Gibbs-White or one of these younger players that have come in the transfer window to be that man. And I'm confident. I think that we will get European competition again next year. Whether that's from doing well in the Europa League or from doing well in the Premier League, we will get something. I also think that we're going to have another good cup run. I think the fact that we're going into the round 3 of the League Cup leaves us a little bit less to do in that competition. The FA Cup as well, if we can be fortunate with a draw and get a few home ties in that one, we could get to Wembley again. And the Europa League, we've seen the level of competition in these early rounds. We know that the group stage will provide a challenge. If we're to get there, Torino's going to be a very, very tough challenge as well. They've got a couple of good players, but obviously Wolves are in the competition to win it or to go far in it. We'll go all out and I think we'll do well against Torino as well. But we need to make sure that we're balancing the squad right, and there'll be a bit more rotation than there was last year. We're not going to see the same team for 10 games in a row at the beginning of the season. It will be a bit more fluid and a bit more versatile. But I'm very, very looking forward to it. Let me know in the comments down below what you think is going to happen in the whole Premier League, who you think is going to win it, who you think might get relegated, where do you think our local rivals, Aston Villa, might end up doing. Is there anybody who you think might surprise the Premier League, or is there anybody that you think might be a complete flop? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel as well, and I'll see you on Sunday for a review of the Leicester City game. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Goodbye.